Hey guys, welcome back to the Home Surf. Hopefully you're doing good and having a great day. I love you all, and I'm so glad you could join me. Today, we're talking about gear. All right, guys, so there's a lot to consider when you're looking at your personal kit. And so, mainly, what I would definitely recommend is first of all, you want to be as light as possible, but carry as much as you can, right? And so, some of the stuff was taken from my old duty stuff, and just kind of pieced together some things. And I could definitely go for some upgrades for sure, um, because there's there's a lot of stuff that I have here, but it can be quite heavy, and so you want to ditch as much weight as possible, but carry again as much as you can. And so what we're going to start off with is your plate carrier, right? You want to make sure that you have room for ammo. You also want some utility pouches, maybe some lights. You also want to make sure you have some space for a water supply, right? Maybe like a camel pack, um, or maybe a pouch for a canteen. Now, I would recommend both just because the more water, the better. But if you can't do a canteen, then just stick with the camel pack. Um, as you can see, I have a light here. Any kind of light is going to help. Okay, if you find yourself in a dark hallway and you don't want to use the light on your primary weapon, you can just use this guy here, right? Something you don't have to worry about moving around a whole lot, and so that's good. Um, as far as the camel pack goes, back to the camel pack, you want to make sure that your line comes all the way through and is able to come up to where it's easily accessible. So that pretty much covers that. For the ammo, right? I try to go for three. They do make ammo or sorry, mag pouches. Um, if you can get them in parts of three, like double mag pouches. If you can get double mag pouches, that's awesome, right? That's awesome. I would definitely go for that. Um, but if you can just go for three mag pouches, um, then that's fine. You just want to make sure you have quite a bit of ammo on you, in case you find yourself in a firefight. So, because the guy that runs out of ammo first is the one that's going back to using sticks and stones. And tell you what, that doesn't do well against high velocity lead. So, you want to make sure that you're equipped, you're prepared, and you train. All right. So, utility pouches. What I mentioned before. Um, So utility pouches, you want to make sure that you have room for extra stuff, right? Um, Maybe some gloves, maybe some gauze. You never really know what all you could, maybe some shears, right? You never really know what you need when you're out in the field, or when you're out training, right? And so carry a utility pouch on you and band-aids. Put some band-aids in there, okay? If you get, a cut, you don't want it getting infected. And so, carry some medical equipment. I'll get into more of that here in a minute, but, some Neosporin, IPA, just stuff like that, guys. You want to make sure that you carry some medical supplies and as well some band-aids. A lot of people, kind of skim over band-aids, and that's something that you really need to have is band-aids. Um, so back on the ammo, right? You want to make sure that you have secondary a secondary source of ammunition, right? Um, and so you can have probably about 1 to 2 mag pouches, and that should just be fine. I would recommend a little bit more than that. But don't overwhelm yourself, right? You don't want to be so, encumbersome with ammo that you can't move around effectively. Um, so what I would recommend is two triple double mag pouches with your primary weapon, maybe 7.62 or 5.56, whatever. And a couple of double double pouch um, mag pouches, I guess. I don't know what to call those things. But if you can get four mag pouches for your sidearm, and then probably about 6 mag pouches for your primary, boom, good to go. I'm gonna break it down like that. So you want to make sure that your plate carrier in itself is low profile, right? You want to, again, like I was saying, be as light as possible, but carry as much as possible, right? And so you want to make sure you're covering the vital organs, but it's not so heavy that you can't really move around like you should, right? So what I have here for body armor is I have they are AR 500 plates. They are AR 500 plates from Strike Face. I thought it was a different company. But these guys are really good. I think it stops up to 5.56. I don't think it stops 7.62 though. So I think those are level 4s, level 3s. Oh, yeah, level 3. Yeah. So they, if I remember correctly, level 3s can stop up to 5.56, not 7.62. I don't think. But these things are heavy. I believe they are ceramic. Or maybe they're steel. I can't exactly remember which material they are. Yeah, I think they're steel. I think these are steel. Steel is a good option to go with. But I would definitely recommend ceramic just because it's a little bit lighter. Or at least in my experience, it's a little bit lighter. That's what I used when I was in. We used ceramic level 4s, and those weighed quite a bit lighter than this. Not too much, but it was a deal lighter, and it really it wasn't so harmful on the back. Now, with all the stuff that we did carry, right, it did eventually lead to my back problems, but it's definitely not going to be as cumbersome as steel. And there's 2 of these, right? One for the front, one for the back. And so that's a little bit of weight, right? So I would just recommend you guys do your research. Just start there with the armor. So next we're going to be talking about is the belt. I will always recommend a battle belt, right? You want to make sure that you can carry some extra utilities. I think there's some more gauze and stuff in here, tourniquets and stuff. Yeah, tourniquets. There's some splints in here and some really good stuff. Now, and going back to the medical stuff here, you want to make sure you carry a medical pouch on you, right? And so, as you saw the shears, there is, right, you want to make sure you have an assortment of things that you can use when you have to in a pinch. But make sure, because I'm going to tell you guys something that they told us whenever we were going down range. Whenever you use your kits, tourniquets, medical pouches, IFAKs and stuff like that, use it on yourself. Okay, use it on yourself. If you have something extra that you can help someone with, by all means, do that. But if your buddy goes down, right, and he becomes incapacitated, use his equipment on him. Don't use your own. Okay, just a little bit of tidbit there. When I was telling you about the pouches, right, your secondary pouches are going to be down here on your belt. Again, you don't want to overburden your shoulders with all of the weight. You want to kind of distribute some stuff around the hips. It's going to help with that, you know, weight distribution. And so pouches down here, mags down here. It's going to help, guys. Also, you know, carry some other mags with you as well. That's going to help out, guys. So just make sure that, you know, whatever you do, you're thinking of however, you know, you can best utilize your personal kit, right? It's a personal thing. It's an experience thing. So, you know, just get out there, figure out what you need, figure out what you can use, and, you know, go from there. Next is going to be helmets. Okay. This is an ACH. That's a cheap ACH. I couldn't invest a whole lot of money into, you know, Team Wendy or OpsCore, simply because, you know, I don't have a $2,000-$3,000 to just drop like that. So, you know, but what I essentially did was I did find a ACH shell. And I had worked some OpsCore stuff, some internals, and then I threw it, you know, in the shell, and got some stuff ready for, you know, night ops, right? So you want to make sure that you can use some NVGs, right? Because you might find yourself, you know, in the middle of the night needing something like this. So make sure you're capable of using that. Get some equipment ready. But I would recommend ACHs, simply because you have the ear protection here, right? Just built in naturally. With the high cuts, which is going to be your OpsCore, your Team Wendy's, you're kind of losing out on that ear protection because it kind of cuts, right, and goes around the ear, not covering the ear. And so that's just why I recommend that. So just make sure you take that into consideration, right? It's also good to have some kind of railing on the side, just in case you might want to put a light attachment on there to help in case your main or second source of light goes down, right? So there's just a lot to consider when it comes to headgear, but just be sure that you know, whenever you're going after and choosing headgear, that it's for very, very, very good reason and it works well with you. So again, because it's personalized. So that's pretty much it. Other than you know, you don't have to invest in, you know, good headset or radio and stuff like that, because that's more, you know, organized type stuff. But if that's something that you're looking into, I don't really know a whole lot about that, if at all. But I'm just mainly talking about for the guys who are, you know, plan on doing this stuff for their own personal kits. So next is going to be a assault pack. Okay. You want to make sure that you are putting extra clothes. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, I didn't know that was in there. I didn't know that was in there. That's cool, man. All right. You want to make sure that you are carrying extra clothes, okay? You don't know when you're going to get wet. You don't know what the environment is going to be like, if you're going to have blood and stuff and all that kind of stuff on it. So just make sure you're carrying extra stuff, right? Also, you want to carry extra mags. I have deltoid armor. So if I happen to need some of that, just some extra stuff, right? You never know what you're gonna need, and so it's always better to be prepared than to not, right? And so. Um, yeah, I believe this is. I don't think this is the IFAK. I think this is a trauma kit. Trauma kits, like I was saying earlier, any kind of medical kit that you're using, absolutely use it, but use it on your own. I'm sorry, on your own person. Use it on yourself. Don't ever use it on someone else. Elbow pads and knee pads. So elbow pads are great. I definitely recommend elbow pads. But I wouldn't really go overboard with that stuff. Knee pads, those are good to invest in if you don't happen to have any kind of trousers that have built-in knee pads, and we'll get to that here in a second. But it's good to invest into knee protection, elbow protection, because a lot of cases you're going to be using your elbows when you're posting up as maybe overhand barricade or support side barricade, whatever, right? And so, well, for those of you who don't know what that is, overhand barricade is just leaning up on a post, right? And then, going down range that way. You could use your elbows that way, and it's just good to have protection. Support side barricade is just going to be, well, I mean, that's your dominant side, or yeah, your dominant side. But you're also going to be using your elbow on that as well to support yourself shooting. And so just so you're not scuffing up your elbows and stuff, it's always good to invest into, some protection. But it's not needed, but it is beneficial. So into the pants, right? Because I already showed you guys the battle tees. I can bring that out or bring that back out here in a second. But for the pants, right? You want to make sure you have built-in knee pads, okay? That's always going to help. You don't have to worry about getting extra stuff if you're working on a budget. But it is good to get some built-in stuff so you don't have to worry about spending more money than what you really want to. So also something that's flame retardant, right? You want something that is absolutely flame retardant. I believe these are, or maybe not. Polyester? No, I don't think so. They're cotton too, so yeah, it's definitely not flame retardant. No, not flame retardant, but I would definitely invest into some flame retardant stuff. I actually do have some stuff that is flame retardant. Some stuff that I was deployed with, and it actually worked out very well, very, very comfortable. And so that's something that I would invest in heavily, is flame retardant stuff. Also pouches, right? You do have extra pouches here on the side for, utilities, maybe pencils, paper, right? Something to maybe map out some things that you're looking at, or get a good idea of maybe a plan of route or something like that. You never know. But it's also good to make sure you have pouches and stuff. So for the tees, right? The t-shirts. It's always kind of good to go with the battle tees, okay? The combat t-shirts. Combat tees is what we called it when I was in. I'm sure they call them the same thing now too, but combat tees. Something that is light, something that is breathable, and something that's going to overall help you to stay cool, right? Especially when you're in a heated environment. You want to make sure that you stay cool and not restricted, right? Something that's stretchy, So that's why I always go with a combat tee. You can just go with a sand tee, which is pretty much just like an undershirt, which is fine. There's no really there's not a problem with that at all. I would just recommend a combat tee just because, you know, of what I was saying earlier. So, um, also boots, right? Invest into some good boots. You want them lightweight, but you also want some good ankle support. Obviously, these aren't it, but you know, some lows. I think there's some Rocky Mountains and stuff out there too. Uh, if that's how you say that, I don't know. um, but there are some good boots out there, right? You want some boots that are that have some good ankle support, especially if you're out in the mountains or the hills. You want to make sure that your ankle is taken care of just in case you happen to trip and fall, right? So boots, absolutely invest into some good boots. Invest into some good boots. As far as shades, you can just find them, you know, online. Not really a big deal. So, but protect yourself against the sun when it comes to sunblock, when it comes to um, eye protection. Because if you find yourself in a situation right where you're blinded for just a few seconds because of the sun, it's gonna be a bad day. And so just make sure. I mean, but you shouldn't really be fighting facing the sun anyway. Sometimes you can't help it, right? But you really shouldn't be fighting, you know, when you're facing the sun anyways. Um, so I think that's pretty much gonna cover a lot of it. If you guys happen to have any, you know, more questions, just let me know. But I figured it was kind of, you know, something quick to talk about and something that I can, you know, help you guys out with. So if you are looking for your first kit, I would recommend going to US Patriot Tactical. That's where I have always went. They actually had a couple of stores on base, you know, whenever I was looking for some new gear, right? Because I was security forces member, I was always looking for gear, and so I would just go there. They also have an online store as well, and so all you would do is just go online, uspatriottactical.com, and you can find almost anything, right? Um, Name tapes, you know, uniforms, you know, battle or not. Um, Plate carriers, assault packs, boots, anything. You can find just about anything, even shades. That's crazy. You can even find shades on there. So I would just visit there and then, you know, find something that you really like, something that you can afford, and something that will work well with you. So that's pretty much all I got to talk with you guys about today. Again, if you happen to have anything that you would, you know, want to talk about, anything on your mind, anything that you know, you may have questions about that, you know, I'm able to answer, please just let me know. I'll be more than happy to do the best I can with that. So if this video helped you out, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing, and commenting as well. The algorithm really cares about engagement, so I really appreciate that, guys. Please, 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 please remember to take care of yourselves, okay, both mind and body. There is no point in training if you don't know what you're training for, okay? And if you can't find the motivation to go train, because at that point, this is a here problem, and you got to fix that here problem before you can go out and train, okay? But you fix this problem, go train. You must train. There was an old TI, a military training instructor, that gave me some good advice, and he said, train like someone is trained to kill you. That's some good advice, because that keeps you on your toes, and you want to stay on your toes. So train physically, train mentally and physically. Be ready and be capable, be prepared for any kind of attack, psychological, mental, or physical, okay? So because as I've told, you know, for the men that watch, listen, boys, as I've told you, our families, our women, and our children, they're going to rely on us heavily. And so we got to make sure we are prepared to not just defend our lives, but defend theirs as well, right? So heed those words, man. I'm telling you. That'll do it for today, you know. And so thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate all of that you do. Again, catch us, me and Corey, Core187 over on his channel. Catch us live this Saturday, the 5th, of July at 7 p.m. We'll be talking about relationships and stuff like that. So we've got a lot of knowledge to talk to you guys about, and there's a lot of interesting things to really cover. So love to see you guys on there, and have you around for a little bit and talk with you guys for a little bit. So that'll be really fun. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. I wish you a very good day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.